Full Gear was this past weekend, and it was the best AEW pay-per-view event of 2020. How's it going, everyone? This is Haris Kruskic, BR Live's Combat Sports Reporter, and today I'm going to explain and double down on why I think Full Gear was the best pay-per-view event for AEW in 2020. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, before I could feel really good about this opinion, I did have to go back and review Revolution, Double or Nothing, and All Out from this past year. What I'll say about All Out is because of Matt Hardy's real-life injury that occurred during that event, I think it kind of clouded the rest of the night, and then it just didn't flow well, and I think that was on everyone's mind, and it wasn't a great pay-per-view because of that. So I took it out of the rankings and took it out of the running for the best pay-per-view of 2020. Double or Nothing was a solid pay-per-view, but it didn't have that marquee match that you look for the best pay-per-view of the year. So it really came down to Full Gear and Revolution. Revolution obviously had that amazing match between tag team champions Kenny Omega and Adam Page taking on the Young Bucks, and it had Orange Cassidy taking on Pac. It was filled with great matches as well. However, I think Full Gear with FTR and the Young Bucks, that insane match that could be the match of the year, as well as Cody against Darby Allin, Darby finally winning the TNT Championship, amongst other things. I think that's what put it over the top for me. So I feel good about saying Full Gear was the best pay-per-view for AEW in 2020, but now here's why. So first and foremost, looking at this card, I truly don't feel like there was a single bad match on this card. And that's tough to say about a 9-match card because there's usually bound to be one match that's just very lackluster and doesn't really, bring about the emotions that AEW necessarily wanted. But I can't really say that about any match on Full Gear. Sure, some were worse than others, but that's always going to be the case with any pay-per-view show. Again, they turned it on with a bang. Kenny Omega against Adam Page. One of the best matches of the year. It'll be a match of the year candidate for AEW without question. But I can also say that about a couple different matches on this card, including the Young Bucks against FTR, which was incredible. It was up there to me with Kenny Omega and Adam Page taking on the Young Bucks at Revolution last February. I really, truly don't know which tag team match was better. It was varying styles. You saw Kenny Omega, Adam Page, and the Young Bucks. That was high-flying, action-packed through and through. Meanwhile, FTR and Young Bucks, it was the contrast of styles that we've all been expecting from those two when they finally met up, and that's exactly what they brought. There was drama with FTR and the Young Bucks. At one point, you really, truly felt that FTR was going to win towards the end. Young Bucks had the titles on the line and even had on the line the fact that they would not compete for the titles again if they were to lose. But then Cash Wheeler, and really brilliant storytelling, going for a flip, which, FTR's whole thing, no flips, just fists. Cash Wheeler makes the mistake of going for a flip for the first time maybe ever. I truly have never seen Cash Wheeler go airborne like that, attempting a 450 flip from the top rope. It was crazy. He misses, Young Bucks win, and I just thought that was incredible storytelling. So one reason that I think this was an exceptional card is, one, no bad match, and two, in fact, two incredible matches that'll go down for match of the year candidates for AEW. And what's a pay-per-view without a couple surprises? First, Darby Allin becoming the new TNT champion. Who was expecting that? I mean, Cody has been on a roll since earning the TNT championship for a second time, defeating Brody Lee a few weeks ago to reclaim his title. And it just seemed like he was going to continue the streak. We were going to see Darby Allin lose to Cody again for a third time. And it just seemed like Darby wasn't quite ready to get this TNT championship, at least in the eyes of fans. But here we are, Darby Allin, the new TNT champion. An exciting time at AEW because Darby Allin's his stock is through the roof. Personally, I can't wait to see where he ends up 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I think he's going to be one of those household names in wrestling if he isn't already. And full circle, going from his debut at Fyter Fest last year in that dramatic draw with Cody to a little over a year later, finally winning the TNT championship against Cody. And at the end of the match, Cody, initially shocked, finally took a knee, handed Darby Allin the belt, gave him his moment, and what a moment it was. That was truly, truly unbelievable. And then Matt Hardy against Sammy Guevara in what I'm assuming is going to be the end of their feud in a dramatic cinematic match. It was awesome. It was definitely a different kind of match. If you don't like those kind of matches, then this wasn't for you. But who didn't love seeing Hurricane Helms and Gangrel back and making a short little cameo for Matt Hardy? I would love to be on the other side of that call. I'm assuming Matt Hardy reached out to them and said, hey, I have this idea for you guys. Are you interested? And I'm so glad that they were, because that was incredible. I could not have been the only one that marked out on their couch seeing them appear. It was just astounding. And it was moments that you'll remember for quite a while. So that's another part of Full Gear and one of the reasons that I think this was the best pay-per-view of 2020 for AEW. And what's an amazing pay-per-view event without an amazing main event? Jon Moxley taking on Eddie Kingston and defeating Eddie Kingston to retain his title for a 9th time. It's funny because this wasn't the best match of the night, and it probably wasn't even the second best match of the night, but it was still an outstanding main event that got the job done, told a story. And look, if you thought this was going to be a 5-star match heading in, you were crazy. This was always going to be a slugfest between two guys that absolutely hate each other. Jon Moxley defeating Eddie Kingston. So much creativity went into this. First of all, Eddie Kingston using rubbing alcohol to pour onto Jon Moxley's wounds from the thumbtacks that were inserted into him very forcibly a little earlier in the match. Something, frankly, I've never seen before in all my years of watching wrestling. And then Jon Moxley following it up by unwrapping the barbed wire around the bat to submit Eddie Kingston. And Eddie said it for weeks, you're going to have to kill me to defeat me. And there's nothing closer to death than getting barbed wire wrapped around your neck. And it was really, really gruesome to watch, but it was exactly what you would expect from these two guys. Setting up Jon Moxley against Kenny Omega, who defeated Adam Page earlier in the night. That's going to be a crazy match. But overall, what this Full Gear did is it established various feuds throughout the night with incredible storytelling. We saw that probably more so in the main event than any other point in the night, and it was incredible. Full Gear was amazing. This is why it is my pick for the event of the year for AEW in 2020. And do you agree? Do you disagree? If not, let us know in the comments. Subscribe for more content like this. If you like more bad opinions, if you think my opinion is bad, that's totally fine. Feel free to disagree. But in my opinion, Full Gear was the best AEW pay-per-view event of 2020.